Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is a daily tarot oracle reading, Tattle Tales from the Vector. This is a general or collective reading. Parts may or may not resonate with you. Take what works for you, leave the rest. This is also a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That could give you further clarity as to your situation now. Okay, so we do have, for the underlying energy for the reading, we have the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is representing a mental prison. This person's perfectly okay to physically remove herself from this situation, but it's her mind that's keeping her here. So it's talking about, having, not wanting to see a situation clearly, or seeing it clearly and not knowing what to do, basically. And the binding is talking about feeling like she's duty bound in some way, that no matter what decision she makes, it feels like quite often this can be because it will affect the people that she loves. And this is also talking about, there was a lot of, there's water here, and the water in tarot represents emotions, but I feel at one point there was way more water and there was a lot more emotion, but she's managed to work through that. And she has put 7 thoughts behind her, and this one thought that's left is the one that she's decided she's going to go with. So her right foot is forward, it's on dry land, the water has dissipated, but there's still, her left foot is still in this puddle. It's a shallow puddle. Not saying her emotions are shallow, but saying that there's way less emotion than there was when she started thinking about this and what to do. You notice that behind her is her castle, and she has her back to it. So that can be saying that this decision means that she's going to have to leave what she loves, her home, maybe people she cares about, that sort of energy. And it's also talking about having put, these 7 thoughts behind her and settled on this one. And sometimes this can talk about thoughts of other people behind her back. So this is talking about, she's about to take the next step forward, grab this sword, cut through her bindings, pull the blindfold off, and take action on this thought. And this is talking about justice. So justice is talking about, something here clearly has happened to cause her to be in this position. And so this is, justice comes from the spiritual realm down to the physical. And it's also redemption from karma. This is from my oracle, Tales from the Vector, courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. And this is the Dragon Kelly. She lives in a cave not far from Bimini Road, which is by the Bermuda Triangle, close to the Florida coast. And this is about redemption from karma. And a lot of people feel that karma is representing, a punishment of some sort, but it's actually cause and effect for actions or inactions. So you could have direct karma because of something that you did. You took action and it directly caused other people suffering, pain, struggle, and perhaps even had them end themselves in a negative way. And also this can represent not taking action because you, especially if you're in a position of power and you're, could have taken action to prevent this and you choose not to because it's beneficial for you in some way. Also, this could represent indirect karma. Indirect karma is associated karma, and that would be, your ancestors might have unfinished business from when they were here. And even sometimes your descendants. This can talk about associations with people, places, things, friends, family, peer groups, partners in business, whatever that is, in the same type of energy. And then we also can fall into karmic spaces. Now, karmic spaces are, we're human, we're going to make mistakes, and the karmic spaces are very easy for most people to fall into. And they also cause karma as well that needs to be cleared. So this could be about redeeming yourself and maybe even your family line from some karmic energy. And then we also have, to begin the reading, we have the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups represents one of 4 queens in the minor arcana. She is the most traditional of all of the queens. She's most likely to be in a traditional marriage. Also the most maternal. She has her cup is like a trophy. It's talking about, the cups in love in tarot represent love, and quite often romantic, but it can be love of all sorts. So this would be about her loving her husband, her partner, her children, friends, family. She has a very big heart, very kind hearted, and she her cup is like a trophy. Like, this is someone who loves to build a home, and that least likely to have make a career her first priority. Her home would be her first priority, and her children. Quite often this could be kind of like a trad wife energy. And most maternal of all. And so this sometimes also represents the maternal bloodline. It can represent DNA and being able to trace your ancestry back down through the bloodline. The mothers, they pass on, their DNA can be identified through the mitochondria of the cell. And the mitochondria in our cells is like the energy part of it. It's like the battery. And a mother passes that down to both sons and daughters, so it affects them, but only the daughters carry it and pass it down. So that's how they can track down a bloodline in that way. And so sometimes this card does represent the energy of, adoptions, or, so many people these days, they get DNA testing, and maybe they've been in a situation where they're not sure who their biological mother is, or they want to prove that that's their biological mother. That's how they would do it. And then if someone was in the data bank, then the possibility would be of finding them. We have the Magician. So the Magician is an energetic upgrade. It's talking about 100% infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond. This is talking about the Magician is bringing their thoughts from heaven down to earth and creating a beautiful garden on the planet. On the bench here, we have tools, and those tools, they're available to you. You just have to learn how to use them, and to be most efficient, which tool to use for which task to create a beautiful garden. If you've ever had a garden, you'll know that if you leave the tools laying around, they don't just get up and do it themselves. So you're going to have to pour your energy into this. But it definitely is saying that an energetic upgrade is available to you. And then we have, and this is after a dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul is when your foundation has been shaken. And where you really feel like the rug was pulled out from underneath you spiritually, physically, in every way a human being can feel that they've been let down. And so this is talking about the hermit climbing to the top of the mountain to isolate themselves, because they want to just sit and commune with God and pray and meditate and find the answers as to what to do next. They're kind of feeling like a lost soul. When their lantern becomes full of the north light, this energy of the North Star, that's the destined path, and it lights up the rod. And then when that happens, then the hermit knows, okay, it's time to come down from isolation and take action, what they learned from the Most High. And then we have justice coming in here a second time. So definitely we do want some justice here. Double down. There's double down justice here. And it definitely would have something to do with this energy. And you know how I said this could be talking about being forced to walk away from what you love, the people you love, this could be your work that you love, your home. You could have been forced to walk away from your home, that type of energy. This is talking about we have 8 cups here. So this is someone walking away. They're just done. They have to, they're not doing this anymore. And there's 8 cups here. So this generally can talk about, we have 8 cups and we have 8 swords. This could be like 8 years of energy that you've poured into something and then you've just had to walk away from it. And sometimes it could be more, but this is just talking about that. If this is about romantic love, because the cups can represent romantic love, it could represent like you had 5 good years and then you had, you have 2 cups here, years 6, 7, a gap between 7 and 8. And maybe there was a third party energy because we have 3 cups here with a gap in between. So this is talking about walking away, you're done. You're ready to move on, like you're not willing to pour any more energy into this. We have the full moon and the new moon here, and I feel that's representing that your intuition is telling you, it's just time to move on. There's no salvaging this. It's not something that you're interested in continuing with. And we have the 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles is talking about, fulfillment of lifestyle. And so this could, sometimes this can just be talking, this can be a windfall that comes after going through a dark night of the soul, something really difficult. But the Pentacles in tarot represent health, wealth, and happiness in the third dimension. And it's talking about matters of the earth. Pentacles represent the element of earth. Of course, a big part of that is money, but you could have all the money in the world and still not be living the lifestyle that you want to live. And there seems to be some energy around this, like this is about having the perfect partner with the children and maybe even grandchildren and having the dream that you always had, like how your life was going to be. And it's, even if you I feel like in this card it's saying even if you had all the money in the world, you still wouldn't have what you really love because it's been torn apart basically here. So what is going on here? We have, okay, so like normally this is a windfall that comes after a dark night of the soul. And this is saying that God is here, that you are a child of God, that you were meant to be happy, and this is your destiny to be happy. So, and it's your destiny to also have this beautiful lifestyle. This is like talking about a beautiful lifestyle in a perfectly imperfect world. You deserve this windfall after everything you've been through. This is talking about this young child being a child of God is riding this pony, and this is your destined path, and this banner is heavy, but this child is carrying it with ease. There's no need for reins here. The sunflowers are turning to face the sun, and the sun is the happiest card in the deck, and it's shining warmth and happiness on this reading. So when the sun shows up in a reading, it's talking about shining its happiness and its light upon this entire reading. So we were off to quite a bleak start here, but maybe this is turning around now. We have justice here, we have justice here as the underlying energy. It's talking about clearing karma. And let's see what else is going on here. We have the 4 of Pentacles. So what is happening? We're promised this, but this is what we end up with. I don't know. That doesn't feel like much of an energetic upgrade, but this is talking about having a foundation to stand on. This card is actually, even though the Pentacle cards are talking about the, lifestyle, not just money. This card is actually about the 3 levels of making money. And it's talking about having a foundation where you can pay your bills and you can look after yourself, but you can't go after your heart's desires and you can't go after your crown and glory. Now that could mean that you could get all this money and this windfall and have this beautiful lifestyle, but it's still not what you wanted. It's not how you saw yourself, like having to leave your family, walking away from what you love to do. You could have a lifestyle that looks really good on the outside, but you still don't really, you have that, like maybe the fancy house, you have the money, you have like, you know, this energy here. It looks good on the outside, but on the inside, you're left feeling empty because you don't have what you always wanted. Maybe you always knew you wanted something as a child, or you were working really hard towards something. And this is kind of like, it's kind of like, what do I, not a booby prize, but more like, I'm trying to find the word. It's kind of like winning, you know, like coming in second and instead of first. So you almost have this, but you don't quite. You know, it's kind of that energy. And maybe that's something that you feel has happened here, and like you've asked for justice, and then you've asked for justice, and you almost get it, but then it ends up like this again. It's just an empty, that's what it is. This is like feeling like this is an empty promise. Thank you. I couldn't find the right words. So this is about having your back on the city, having your back on your home. This is about, you know, it's not easy to be a hero in your own hometown. This is talking about having to turn your back on what you love again. So you've done it twice here already, and you still have ended up not with this because it's not what you want. Like that's basically what this reading is saying. So it's an energetic upgrade on the outside, but on the inside, it's empty. It's kind of like, so I have this on the 3D, but I don't feel fulfilled. That's the energy I'm picking up. I don't know what's gone on here. It's kind of like, it's kind of like one of those situations I feel like where everybody else would say, oh, what a beautiful ending, because it would look like it on the outside, but inside, you feel like you were ripped off, kind of like, no, this isn't what I wanted. I wanted justice. That's different than just the outward appearance of justice. That's what I feel this is about. So this is talking about playing small, being sold short, you know, taking all the risks and being promised something and it never comes through. That type of energy is what I'm picking up. So let's keep going and see. Yeah, because of some cutthroat energy. The cutthroat, like, and this could be the cutthroat energy here, and you know, someone that just keeps taking from other people, and it's like, it's, you know, risk, and they're willing to risk everything, to take everything. It's an all or nothing attitude. And so it's like, this energy is maybe like, maybe you were able to, on the outside, appear to have gotten justice, but you don't feel you have, because that is an energy of when someone who is in this position and they come at you for no reason, and then they, you know, yeah, they lay down their swords and they walk away, but they just go and do it to someone else now. Like they get away with it, actually. There is no justice here. The justice here, look at where twice now this has happened, where you've turned your back to the city and you still haven't received justice. You're still fighting this energy. It's kind of, I don't know if this is like talking about a spiritual battle or what kind of energy this is. This is different because it's interesting, because I've done a few readings in the last couple days where the justice comes in from both the oracle and the deck. And also, you know, certain cards are coming up and repeating themselves. So this is talking about, you know, having to fight for what was yours, what was promised to you and you never got. And because you have to keep fighting for it, you're just like, just take it. You know, if you want it that bad, who cares? Like you've sucked all the fun out of it anyway. It's that kind of energy. So this is talking about someone who has had to fight off two people here. And so this could be your energy, definitely. You fought off a couple of people already, but you know there's going to be more coming your way, because there always is. And the justice that you're promised is temporary, and then you end up having to do it all over again. It's that type of energy. It's a very... I don't know, like it's like being promised this and then this, and this card keeps coming up. It's about being sold short, selling yourself short, not taking the risks yourself, maybe. Like, but it's almost like people who are in this all or nothing energy, and they're willing to risk everything to take from other people. They just keep on doing it and doing it and getting away with it. And the people that they do it to end up like this, and then they have to fight to come back and then ask for justice again. And then some other a-hole comes along and does it again. And it's just kind of like, how many times can someone do this in a lifetime and call that justice? Like, what is that? Like, why is it that people who are in this energy and they're cutthroat and they're willing to risk anything and they'll do anything for money? You know, like this here is like the Ten of Pentacles would be like a billionaire, trillionaire energy. So it's a lot of money, and some people will do anything for that kind of money, anything. And that's this energy. And so they do. And then they leave their victims like this. And then the victims are asking for justice again. And then they go and they do it again. That's the energy that's coming up, causing burdens for other people. People are working their butts off, doing things the correct way, you know, planting seeds, growing the wands, watering them, doing all the work, and then bringing it home. And it's a heavy load to carry. There's a lot there. And they finally, you know, they're like, it's like you can't see the forest for the trees because you've been working so hard, you've been caught up in the details of it. And then you notice that this asshole is sitting outside your house. And, you know, as you're almost home, there they are, ready to take their share of your harvest. And they get away with it again. And then you ask for justice again. And it's that type of energy. That's the energy that it's like a never-ending loop. And so I don't know what this is, but it's kind of like, that's how it's coming up. It's kind of like, why bother fighting for justice? Like, what's the point of it? Like, just take it, you know, here, you lazy bastard, just take it. It's that kind of energy I'm picking up. I'm not going to fight you. I'm not fighting for what's mine anymore. What's the point? I feel like a lot of people are feeling that way on the planet right now. We have a lot of stuff going on here in, you know, all on the world where we're seeing like, yeah, justice is coming in, but it's a half-assed justice. And you have to go through this process of going through 25 assholes to get like justice from one of them, you know. And then you have to fight to get back on your feet again, and then plant the seeds again. And then there they are lurking around your house again. You know, it's that type of energy. So I don't know. This is a real kind of pissed off energy, really, in this reading. It's not like, yeah, we're not happy yet, Lord. We're wondering, why is it that we have to keep repeating this process? Why is it that these people keep getting away with what they're doing? Why is it that this is what we call justice? You know, and no wonder we're in a mental prison when it comes to that. So it's that time of like, it's really, it's saying like, what is this about? Like, this is a genuine question. Like, why are we bothering to repeat this process over and over again? And people doing things the correct way and being the good guy, and, you know, and my dad had a book before he passed away, and it was a real funny book in a way, but it was a long title about, you know, why do SOBs succeed in business and good guys don't? And he had this book, and I, like, when we were going through his stuff after he passed away, I kept it and I read it, and it was really an interesting book. It had this long title, you know, it was bright yellow, and I thought, wow, like my dad really felt that way. He was in business, like, you know, an entrepreneur in business for many years. And, you know, that was his end conclusion. Good guys finish last. And so if you do things the right way, the assholes will just come along and take it from you. And that's just seems to be the way that the world works. And is that justice? And why is it that way? Is this a punishment for people? Like what is the point? Where, you know, that's the energy I'm getting. And I feel like a lot of people are feeling that way. Like if you talk to people right now, there's a lot of people feeling like, they do everything, they do things by the letter, they pay their taxes, they don't cheat on things, they don't, they do what they say they're going to, they do their best to run a good business. And people that do everything illegally come out on top. And it seems like that's what this reading is about. So maybe God's going to enlighten us here on why that is. Yeah, like we have the Queen, we have the Queen of Pentacles here. And so the Queen of Pentacles, she is sitting on her throne, and she is known for being highly resourceful. Like she can make something out of nothing, and she's highly admired for that. She prefers quality over quantity. But she comes from generational wealth, and this is a legacy that's handed down from one generation to another generation. And I started asking, because a lot of people in my collective are asking this question, like what I'm dealing with right here. And it's heavy, but it's like, why, there's all they're leaving stories in the comments about how they've had their inheritances stolen. They've gone to the authorities. Nothing's done about it. They, no matter what way they turn, they don't get justice. And they keep, and you're doing these readings and you're saying, well, justice is here. It's coming. But it feels like, okay, so I've been asking lately when the Queen of Pentacles comes in, what happened? And maybe I can, if I grab a story, it could give some answers to someone out there that's in that position. But basically, this is talking about, why should she have to be so resourceful if she comes from generational wealth? Where is her legacy? What happened to it? Where did it go? And so let's ask the question again, because it's sitting right on God saying that we're going to get justice, that we're going to be happy, that we're going to get what we deserve, we're going to get what was left for us by our ancestors. Let's see what happens here. Then we have the Three of Pentacles come in, and so this is what happens. The assholes show up and they decide, I'm going to take it instead. I'm going to let you work, you plant the seeds, you do all the work, and then when it's ready to harvest, we'll let you keep a couple ones here, but we're going to take the vast majority of them. You're in an elevated position, you're very talented, you've been given all these God-given talents, and we're just going to come along and take it from you. And, you can either put up with it, or, we'll just run you out of town, or we'll run you out of your business, or we'll run you out of, whatever it is that you're doing. This is what the collective is saying in my community. And I'm like, okay, so this card shows up after this. Now, I can tell you one thing. I would rather be the Queen of Pentacles, and I would rather be sitting on my throne and being admired for being resourceful than being an asshole like this. So I would say that, people need to realize that there's two bank accounts. There's a spiritual bank account, and there's one in the 3D. And I would rather have a real strong, a very high deposit, a lot of deposits, and a lot of coins, if they were coins that would represent that, in my spiritual bank account. But what I want to know is, why does it have to be that way? Like, why do the people that are in this position where they come along and they take advantage of other people because they have power, why do they get to live the better lifestyle? Like, why can't people that are spiritual, that are actually spiritual, not the fake people that say they're spiritual, why can't they live a good lifestyle? Why is that? Like, I know there's a lot of talk about that in the Bible and that, but why? Why wouldn't you be able to live a really good lifestyle on planet Earth and work for what you work for and be given, the value for your work, and that these people would be not allowed to just come along and take it, and it would be like an actual justice, like there would actually be justice in the systems, there would be justice in the world. Like, why is it like that? Like, it's like, this is definitely like a spiritual question that we're asking here for sure. We have the Hierophant coming in, and the Hierophant takes care of justice. Yeah, we know that, but you're doing a shitty job. Like, sorry, Hierophant, but really. Most of the time, these people are living a better lifestyle from what they take. And, you know, they are, the people that they take from are living like this. And the people that take it from them are living like this. Why is that? Does this mean that that planet Earth is not meant to be a beautiful place to live? Does this mean that it's not meant to be? I mean, we know it's not fair, that's for sure. But, you know, this is talking about having gratitude for what you have and being in that position. But why is the Hierophant, he's got his right hand in the form of a blessing, and he comes in a lot of the readings, and it's his job to bring from the spiritual realm the justice. He does it through churches and through religions, and he, you know, the leaders of that energy, and he brings that down. And on a spiritual level, people pray and they meditate, and they do their best to stay on their divine path and the one that God has asked them to stay on. And then that's brought down into the courts and the systems. But why is it that it doesn't seem to be coming down to the earth? Like, is it not meant to be? Is this a university where it's the harder, like the shiftier your life is while you're on the planet, the bigger your account is spiritually? Or is it, you know, like what's with all the torture and, you know, all of the things that go on in the world? Like, why is it like that? A lot of people want to know. Yeah, like this feeling of loss. And this goes both ways, because the Seven of Pentacles lately is coming up that, you know, a lot of times this will come up that you've put in all this energy and effort. This is the time, money, and energy that you've invested in this. And you come out with only this much. But lately it's been also coming out like, yeah, you were really successful. You managed to accumulate all this from your harvest, but you're left feeling empty. Like, it's like, what was the point of it? You know, it's kind of like, it's not satisfying anymore. It's like, what is this about? And then we have the energy at the top. We have the Nine of Cups. So the Nine of Cups is saying basically that, you know, this is something that you wish for, is having all this love in your life. And, you know, this person is highly successful. This is someone that possibly is a public figure. You might be a public figure, or this might be someone that you know. This could represent mentors that we have, people that we look up to, that, you know, are talking about spirituality and love and all of that. And they have a lot of answers, but it doesn't seem to work out the way that they say it does either, you know? So it's just kind of like a question. What happened? What is this really, really about? We have someone sitting here on the stage, and there's 9 cups above them, and this is a promise of having that 10th cup, that ultimate fulfillment, like we have promised here. But is it going to fall empty as well? Is it just because we're human beings and we don't live up to, you know, standards? Or I don't know. I'm asking. So we'll see here. We've got, you know, this energy. It's talking about someone who's sitting on the stage and they're not 100% congruent with their body language. You know, they're sitting with their legs turned out like this, and that is like weakening their masculine and feminine energy from the base chakra. I mean, if this was a vehicle, how far would you get with your wheels like this, right? So in the upper body, they've got their arms in an infinity symbol here. And, you know, it looks like a genie almost, like, okay, they're used to having this. And a lot of the, you know, the spiritual leaders out there live a very good lifestyle. They have, you know, a lot of, you know, good things happening. And so do people here. It's just like scraping by instead of having the promise. Because this is not just about money. This is about lifestyle. And this is about the love coming through. And so, I don't know, I just feel a lot of people maybe, why this, like, because this is the third reading where the justice has come out from both the oracle and also the tarot. And the energetic upgrade is, like, there's a few cards here that keep, in the Hierophant keeps coming out. And it's like, why does this keep coming up? I'm wondering, it's like, what's going on here? So I don't feel like satisfied with the answer. I'm not sure yet, but we can look from here. The Queen of Cups is talking about, it could be something to do with the maternal bloodline and the love, how we're taught to love from our mother, I guess. This is talking about, the people out there that are willing to risk everything and willing to take things from other people that don't belong to them, and they get to go on and, live a really, really good lifestyle. They, just as you're about to bring the harvest home, they take most of it and they give you a couple wands just to shut you up. And then you're supposed to be grateful for that and be like, oh, whippity-doo-dah. And here we have it at the top here. What's the point? The Hierophant is here to bless us with justice. That's his job, to do so and bring that down to the physical realm. But these are the guys that are going to live like this. They're sitting right on it. And this is you walking away from what you love. And we've got justice here, and we've got justice here. So, and we have the sun here, and God is saying, no, you are going to be happy. So, we don't know what God's timing is, and we don't know the purpose of what's happening here. So it's hard to say. Like, I'm doing my best here, but I'm a little bit confused by this reading. I don't know where this is, taking us. I'm going to clarify with my oracle. If you're leaving the reading here, thank you for your time and energy, and for your questions and your comments. I did a little meditation on this, and the Justice card came out, and it was talking about this energy, and a lot of people wondering this right now, like, why is the world the way it is? Like what can we do differently? That's what can we do to shift this situation into a better situation? All right, we're going to ask that. The cards here, this is from my oracle. I started this in 2007. In 2020, I completed all 64 paintings, and the numbers on these cards represent the paintings in my gallery on in my website, and I will put them in the description box below in the order they appear, so that if you want to take a look at it, you can. It might give you some more answers. We have the Earth Star, and so this is about manifesting at a high level. One of the most beautiful manifestations of all would definitely be, from the sacral chakra, babies, grandchildren, the joy of seeing your children have children. Let's see, we have indifference, and so this is a karmic space that we can all fall into, and that's when, it's this energy of, upgrading in life, but then it falling, like it's, we're not all in it together. We're not a work in progress. There's a lot of people that have pipe dreams. They don't come up. There's a lot of indifference in the world. So this is a karmic space that we can all fall into when we become indifferent to other people's suffering, so that, we can take what we want from people and let them do the work for us, because we're too lazy to do it ourselves. Then we have the Hermit energy on the Hermit, talking about, and that has been coming up a lot too, the Hermit on the Hermit. Maybe we just need to spend more time praying and being grateful for what we have, and appreciating that, and just be okay with it. Maybe this is talking about, your spiritual bank account. Like, I personally, if I had all this money and I had to do this and this, type of energy to get it and take it from other people, I wouldn't be able to enjoy it. I don't know how people can enjoy that. Like, how can you enjoy that? It's hard for me I don't get it. But this is talking about being elevated to Empress status. It's talking about being able to look in the mirror and say, I'm a good person. That is a good thing. Like, I would rather be able to look in the mirror and say, I'm a good person, than have this, on the outside, and in the inside, I'm ugly. I'd rather be beautiful on the inside, and maybe it's not reflected in this way. Then we have the Taurus energy, learning to give and take, like a toddler. You look at toddlers, they are so sweet, and they're so loving. And then if you ask them to share, they can be like a bull in a china shop and throw that tantrum. And, they're learning to give and take. And maybe that's what we're learning. Maybe as adults, we're still learning that gift of being able to give and take, and be able to do that and learn how to do that properly. And so let's keep going here. We have Mother's Worry. This card has been coming up a lot too. There's a lot of worry going on in the world because of the way things are in the world. But really, the world's always been a challenging place to be when you think about it. It's just that now we have access to information, so we get it. But this is mirror, mirror on the wall, or magic mirror on the wall, which way you look at it. I've become my mother after all. And so there could be things about your mother and your mother's bloodline that still are not cleared up. And maybe that's talking about you are still working on that. And you're clearing the bloodline. And that's the most beautiful gift that you can give to your descendants, is to clear that energy. So that's part of the answer. I mean, I'm all for that. We do have Uranus, the planet Uranus, moved into the sign of Gemini about 2 months ago, and it's bringing a lot of truth out. That's its job. The last time that Uranus was in Gemini was in 1941 to 1949, and you can see the truth coming out every day in the weirdest ways. Like, it's actually really awesome to see. So, maybe the work that we're doing just hasn't caught up with with all the shift that's happened. Maybe we owe a much greater price for what's happened to the earth than we can even begin to imagine. And maybe, the people that are in this energy, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to have beautiful things and have a beautiful lifestyle on the planet. It's just, how do you accomplish that? I guess that's the energy. And then we have the energy of the sun coming out again. We have the sun and we have the sun. Interesting. So we have the sun on this energy with the Hierophant above. And we have the sun on this energy with the fruits of your labor. So maybe that's saying, hey, you might be doing way more good for the planet than you realize by staying on track, even though it doesn't appear to be the way you want it to be. Like, we don't know. God may be using us because God made some of us stronger than others for being able to handle this kind of energy. Like, we have God showing up here twice and saying, I am here. I see it. I know what's going on. You have to have faith in my plan. And so that's what I choose to do. I can't even imagine living in a world, I could have all of this, and if I don't have God in my life, I don't want it. Like, I don't want to live in a world where there's no God. No way. I'd feel so sad. Like, I can't even imagine. Who would you pray to? When you have something happen and you ask for assistance, who would you pray to if you didn't have God in the world? It would be very empty. I can't even imagine. I don't want to imagine a world without God in it. I just don't. And so I would rather work for God and not know why it is the way it is than live in a world without God in it. That's for sure. And here's the truth coming out in between the two suns. So this is talking about maybe, you know, the work that we're doing is way more important than we think it is. Maybe every time we're able to forgive someone, every time we're able to get up in the morning and say, okay, I'm still going to be a good person. Even though I'm disappointed, I'm still going to be a good person. And I'm going to appreciate it when I see the the truth coming out, and I see it right before my eyes, truths that have been waiting, like in some cases, decades and generations to come out, and have faith in and turn towards looking at the beautiful and being grateful for and appreciating what is working, you know, that type of energy. Again, I can't imagine that this would be worth what they do to get it. I just don't understand it. I really, really don't. This is what's fun for some is not fun for everyone. Isn't that the truth? So God has such a good sense of humor. So I guess, I don't know, I would rather be happy because I'm doing my best to be a good person. I'm doing my best not to cheat. I'm doing my best not to break laws and that. I mean, we all are going to mess up. We always do. We're human. But I would rather be on this side of it, like wondering, where's my justice, than wondering, than having to look in the mirror knowing how I got this. I wouldn't want to have to do that. I really would not want to have to do that. So I guess that, I don't know if that satisfies. I know for myself, I'm going to continue waking up in the morning, and I'm going to continue wanting to be the best version of myself, and I'm going to continue doing these readings, and we'll, you know, figure it out. But if you take a good look at your life, you may be, after this reading, you might think, yeah, like I would much rather look in the mirror and say, well, today I did good. I was kind to people. I paid my bills. To the best of my ability. I did my best to be a good person. I did my best to do whatever I do at work in the best way that I could, and be satisfied with that, because it's better than looking at yourself in the mirror and knowing what you did to be where you're at. That would be not such a fun energy. So maybe that's just the justice in it right there, because human beings are given choice. I'm going to end it here because I don't know that I've answered people's questions, but I could feel this heavy energy coming in. And with these people keeping on asking for justice and not feeling like they get it. Maybe this is the justice, is being able to look in the mirror and say, I'm not like this. I'm not saying that people that have money and live a good lifestyle are all like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about people that take from other people in that risk it all attitude. There's lots of people that work hard to have a good lifestyle, and they deserve it. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you for your time and energy. I don't know if I've answered any of your questions or not. I feel a little bit more satisfied with it. We had the sun showing up twice here, like bookends on this reading. So we'll all just keep on going and do our best to be good, the best versions of ourselves. And that in itself should be reward enough, I would say. All right. Thank you for your time and energy. And your likes, your comments, your shares, your subscribes. And I will be back with another reading for you again tomorrow. Bye for now.